Good morning and welcome. I am Tony Taylor. I am the connector. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be right here with me. Like today, this episode is going to be fire. Like, it's amazing how everything I have set my intentions for has lined up, and it's been insanely. I'm so grateful to be like right here, right now. So I met this cat online like about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, such a short time. But it's first of all, let me just say, welcome to the show. His name is Elton Anderson. I don't even know what you call yourself, Elton, because I'll get into how you became to what, but what is the title that you call yourself?
You know what? Let's just go with philosopher for right now. I'm still working. I'm still working on it, but I got a couple of other ideas. You can call me an esoteric entrepreneur. You can call
Okay.
me digital daddy. You know, a couple of those things.
So it's amazing. So I was scrolling on IG and I came across Elton, and it was like such it was first of all, it was refreshing to see another grown ass African American adult like talking about metaphysics and spirituality and so openly and so concisely. And so I was sucked in, and it just hit me at a soul level. Immediately connected him like from a soul level, and then come to find out his last name is Anderson. My mom's maiden name was Anderson, so we're all connected anyway. But it was just like this incredible bond already. It's like, and I'm a person that I bond really easily with people, and that's why I am the connector, because I connect with so many people. But no, it was just like amazing. So I reached out to him. Like literally like slid in his DM within what 10 minutes. At first I went down a little rabbit hole of watching all his videos, and they were so inspirational, and they were so like in alignment with where I am in my life right now. And again, like I said, I had asked the universe to like remove everybody from my life that was no longer serving me, and that I was no longer serving them. And then that to send me people that I could connect with, expand with, grow with. And boom, there's Elton. So, Elton, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up, sir?
I grew up, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. So
Detroit.
I'm a Detroit nigga, but I'm also Liberian as well. So my mother's from the country of Liberia in West Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, I
yeah.
did my
So
23andMe, and I can't remember what part. I think it was partly in Liberia when I did my 23andMe. Yeah, yeah. So I know we connected. Oh, so
yeah.
when I saw you online, you were talking about how you were. So Elton was a very accomplished, very successful professional photographer. Went around the world, celebrities, like everything. And then I'll let you take over from there. So give me a little bit about how you chose photography, and then we'll get to 2019.
Okay, so yeah, the story's kind of interesting. So growing up in Detroit, Michigan, always always focused on success. So I was always focused on my grades and my athletics. So went from being head of the class to running track and field and being state champion. And so I
Oh,
got a
wow.
full academic scholarship to Florida A&M. And I said, I'm going to
Wow.
be in business. I want to be in sales, business, marketing, and got my business degree from there, from FAMU. And my first job out of college was actually working as a pharmaceutical sales rep with Pfizer. So
Oh,
that
wow. I didn't know that.
career was amazing. I was 23 years old, making six figures, bought my first
Wow.
house. So I thought I had it all figured out. I was like, yo, this is the life for me. And
Yep.
this is you got to think about it. This is like 2005, 2006.
Hmm.
And so before social media. And I started to work. I was working. I was having a really great career. And 2 years into it, I said, this is not what I meant to do. I got this call from God, spirit, it's this voice. And it said, Elton, you got to switch gears. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I ended up winning a camera at my job because
No way.
yeah, I had such high sales, and like a lot of times they can offer you different items to get. So I could have got
Sure.
golf clubs or a camera, and I got my camera. And I
Setup.
started, you said what?
That was just a setup. I'm just listening.
And so I became obsessed with photography.
Uh-huh.
And as a Pisces, with a Scorpio rising, I know I have to follow my obsessions. And I have to go
Yeah.
down those rabbit holes and continue to go down those rabbit holes. And ended up quitting my job by 2008, quit my job, got a skateboard, a passport, and my camera. And that was my
No
life.
way. Where did you
And
go?
so my first trip out of the country was to Jamaica. So
Okay.
I used to be a little hot boy back in the day, and my first trip was this sugar daddy met me on the beach, and he flew me first class to
No
Jamaica.
way.
That was my
That's
first trip.
crazy.
That was my first trip in life, and my first international
So
trip.
wait, let me stop you right there. Because like I said, I did my 23andMe and I always get joked on because I'm always doing something new and everybody's like, oh my God, you're like a damn Jamaican. You got 10 jobs. So when I did my 23andMe, guess what? I have Jamaican heritage.
It was right there. Okay, yeah. So you know about it. So,
Yes.
uh, so that ironically that sparked my love for travel, and my love for photography kept growing. So I first started out in that world as a wedding photographer, became
Okay.
extremely successful, and that allowed me to travel a lot more. I became an international wedding photographer.
Oh, wow.
So weddings in everywhere from Dominican Republic to Nigeria to St. Lucia to back to Jamaica. So that part of my career for those first 3 years was really amazing because I got to learn a lot of the skills of being a live photographer. Because when you're shooting a woman's wedding, that's
Yep.
like you got one shot at every single image. There's no
Absolutely.
redos. There's no let's run that back.
Yeah.
So it really helped to train my on-set uh, acumen and my
Okay.
confidence in my career and my work.
Wow.
And
And go
okay,
ahead.
no, go
Go ahead.
ahead.
No, I was, and so then, how did people find you? How did you get your name out there? How did you build your brand so fast?
That's a great question because, like I said, this was before social media. Like right before 2008, 2009 was right before social media. So what I did was I used to write a blog. I don't know if you remember the
Okay.
blog days. So I had a blog, and the number one person that would recommend my me to my clients were actually single women,
Okay.
because I used to do these beautiful write-ups of the couples and write about their engagements and write about all these different things and just tell these beautiful stories. Because I think in my heart of hearts, I'm a writer. And
I'm sure
what
you
what
are.
would what would happen is the women would send me messages and they would say, Elton, you make me feel like I can fall in love. You make me feel like I can find love. You inspire me to feel like my husband's gonna find me. And they used to
Wow.
recommend me to their engaged friends. And that's how I
That's
got most of my
huge.
that's how I got most of my clients from
That's
my
huge.
blog.
That pen must have been saying something.
And so but I would say that moment really showed me the power of, in your case, connection.
Yeah.
Because and the power of the written word. Because I feel like through photography and through taking images, you can definitely connect with people, but that written word, that storytelling is really what
Everything.
causes transformation and inspiration. So I did weddings, I would say, for like 2 or 3 years, was really successful in that. And then I got super burned out. And then that's when the
Okay.
next whisper came and it said, move to Los Angeles and become a celebrity photographer.
Okay.
And
What year was that?
that was 2012.
12. Okay.
Yeah. And so I
No,
moved
we're
to
on the
LA.
same line. God, it's crazy. Same
Really?
parallel. Yeah, because I co-own the salon that I currently work in, and I had two other business partners, and I just the same thing. I had this higher call, this calling saying like, you're successful, you're making good money, you have great clients, uh, your kids are in college, you're able to help them with their college, and but then I just wanted more. And then I had a friend of mine at the time, was like, "Hey, come to South Carolina. I'm starting a business. I want you to help me run it." So I ended up selling my shares in the company, and yeah, December 29th of 2011, and then moved to Columbia, South Carolina to help my friend. And I got my real estate license down there as well. And then didn't do a lot with real estate, but I helped him run. It's just like it's called Title Boxing Club. Shout out to Title. If you're
Hmm.
serious about getting in shape and you want a good workout, boxing workout will get you like lit. And so, yeah, I did that in 2012 also. So same parallel.
That's really, we all running these parallel lives, which is crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, so I got to LA, and during this time I had took a year off because when I'm going through transitions like I am right now,
Mm-hmm.
I it's a lot. I just did a post the other day talking about being in the void. So there's this period that I call the void,
Yep.
where basically you are mourning the death of your old self.
Say that again.
You're in this void, and a lot of people
Yep.
really resonated with this message. But I was mourning the death of my old self, my old identity, because this is all about being in a new identity. And I was
Yeah.
mourning that old identity of Elton, the wedding photographer that lived in Miami, and I was welcoming in this new identity of Elton that lives in LA, that is a commercial and celebrity photographer. But the part that makes it so rough is that people are observing you become this new version of yourself. So it's
In
almost like
general.
taking your first steps in front of the whole world. Like you're a toddler,
Absolutely.
or you're riding a bike for the first time and you're like taking off your training wheels in front of the whole world. And
Yep.
I'll be honest, that's exactly how I feel right now. But we'll get to that in a second. But basically, I moved to LA, and I moved to LA with $500 in my pocket because I had took a year
Wow.
off just to like figure out and build up the courage to move to LA. And I realized I didn't want to do weddings anymore. So I was just for a year, I just did nothing.
How
And
was that? How in the hell did you live? How did you make it? Especially in LA where it's like so
what
expensive.
well, no, that was still living in Miami
Oh,
for
that
that
was
year.
still in Miami.
That
Okay.
was in Miami before I moved to LA. And
Got it.
it was just really good friends. I stayed with a friend who was an Olympian, she really a childhood friend. So she had a huge house, and I was kind of just like chilling with her. But I spent
Okay.
that time just building up my own courage, building up my own self-worth. And I had some money saved, so but it
Cool.
was running out. So I moved to LA, and I'm under this belief of that a lot of times audacity is all you really need,
Yep.
because when you move in audacity, it kind of signals to the universe like, oh, this dude ain't playing. Like this dude means business.
Exactly.
And then the universe has to catch up with you versus you trying to force or create resistance. So I removed all resistance and I just said, hey, I'm going to do it. And
And
instantly,
that's so, I think
okay.
that's so poignant what you just said, because a lot of times we live in fear, most of us, me included. And so, like, fear will immobilize you, destroy you. It would tell you things that you don't, that's not great for you. And so, yeah, it's awesome that you could see that in that moment in time that like, hey, if I'm bold, then I'll live boldly and I'll get bold results. Because if you diminish yourself, dim your lights, it's you get no results, and then you're stagnant, stuck, and then you go into this depression. And yeah, so I'm glad that you could recognize that at that time.
It was, yeah, it was definitely me trusting in that voice that continues to guide me in my
Now,
next
when you
step.
say that voice, because I know what you mean, but because I'm into metaphysics and spirituality, I do tarot cards. I've had past life regressions, like six of them. I've had
Uh-huh.
like, I'm so open to energy, and I'll get on that later. How last week I am an empath and I am a connector, and I was trying to help so many people that it physically got to me. I was having anxiety, and my wife was like, honey, you just need to like let people figure out their own problems, and you need to like surround yourself with white light, protect yourself before you let anybody else's energy attach. Because it was like last week, it was like literally attached. And I
Really?
think it had something to do with that new moon in Capricorn that we had last week. Because I
Uh-huh.
was
Uh-huh.
wide awake. For one, at point, I only slept I hadn't slept for 38 hours. I was up for 38
Wow.
hours. Like, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then, me, like I said, I'm into all of that. And then I was like, oh, it's this new moon coming in. And then in the salon, I talked to so many of my clients that said the exact same thing, that they hadn't slept. They were having these kind of mini panic attacks. And I was like, yeah, it's just a Capricorn new moon.
Wow. Yeah, this cosmic energy is messing up a lot of things. Like right now, we just crossed over into the human design new year. And we can get into
Yeah,
that later as well, but if you're into human design, you'll know
I
that
am.
the new year was on January 22nd. So
Okay.
that energy starts at the root and it works its way up. So a lot
I'm
of
gonna have
us
to
are
get with you.
energy.
Maybe we can do a FaceTime or something, and because I want you to go over my chart, because I have my human design chart, so
Oh
it'll be
yeah.
interesting. Because I don't know how to interpret it. When I had it done like 5 years ago.
Hmm.
Uh, the woman that did it explained some of it, but it's so much. Yeah.
It's very intricate. I mean, my style of human design reading, I don't do too many one-on-one readings. It's very rare. But my focus has always been two things. How can you get more fulfillment and how can you monetize your entire body graph? Because if
Okay.
you look at the body graph, if you look at your human design chart, that is literally your business plan.
Okay.
And I speak directly to my esoteric entrepreneurs. And if you understand the way that your energy flows, if you understand your specific frequency, because everything is frequency, this
Yep.
podcast frequency, this camera, this table, the music we listen
Everything.
to, every single thing is frequency. And you know this primarily as a hairstylist amongst many things, you're touching the crown chakra all day, every day.
All
And
day.
when you tap into somebody's crown chakra, and one thing that one of the hairstylists said that really touched me, she said, not only are we touching the crown chakra, but when we're behind our clients, they're in front of our heart chakra. So that's a
Oh,
lot of, huh?
that's a perfect analogy. I never even
Mhm.
realized that.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, that's such a beautiful sentiment. Like,
But it's so true. And then like I like part of the reason why I was like so out of whack last week is because like all these clients were like confiding in me, but these were I was like putting out their fires, and it was just like I've been doing hair 33 years. I'm very compassionate with my clients. My clients know me. I know they all have my cell phone number, so a lot of them reach out to me, and I but it was just like so much energy. And like I said, this new era that we're in right now, everything is moving so quickly, so fast. And it's just like sometimes you feel like you can't keep up because the energy is so bold, and it's just so like electric. And I know that it's working for my greatest good. But I just have to find a way to kind of pace myself, and a way to like you said, invite the energy in and don't fight it, and just kind of like do go that route.
yeah, I mean, I think what I'm seeing and what's giving me more, I would say, confidence and bravery in posting the things that I'm posting now is the fact that so many people are becoming in tuned and waking up.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think we talk about I'm being called to do something. You know, people say I was called to take this
Yep.
career. I was called to travel to this location. But I would say what I'm really seeing is not necessarily just being called, but we're already coded. Like there's a
Yep.
code in our DNA that's traveled down through all the different planets. All the stardust that's in Jupiter and Uranus is literally within inside you, and so it's not just a call. It's almost like an activation of the coding that's already inside of you, and we're just
Yep.
being like, wait, what am I seeing? And I know
Yeah.
for me, after my near death experience,
All right, let's go. Let's jump into
oh,
that
okay, yeah,
because
yeah,
we didn't get into that. So that was 2019. Like,
yeah.
preface that, set that up for me. What happened? Where were you?
Okay. So I moved to LA in 2012 with $500 and a dream. And by 2019, I was hosting my own travel show. I had been a commercial actor in several uh, nationally featured commercials with everybody from Chase
Wow.
Sapphire, Bank. They flew me
Wow.
all around the world. Um, I had an amazing career working with so many different brands and celebrities and companies, and I started my own production company. I had sold a show and executive produced a show for TV One. So I
Wow.
was in the greatest success of my life. I was 37 years old, and life was amazing. And so I didn't want for anything. And I had achieved my level of success that I could have ever dreamed of, and we were filming uh, the final episode of the travel show that I hosted with my beautiful co-host Ty Beauchamp, and we filmed the last episode in Ghana.
Oh,
And
wow.
so yeah, we were filming the last episode in Ghana, and this was like the year of the return. So it was huge. Like we met the king, we met all of the who's who of Ghana. Uh,
Wow.
it was such an amazing, it was like a dream experience. And the interesting thing is in July we were filming an episode because this is August of 2019, so I just want to put that in
Okay.
your viewers' mind to set the tone. So this is August 2019, but just in July of 2019 we shot an episode of our travel show in New Orleans, and while we were in New Orleans, it was July 5th. I
My wife's birthday,
literally, that's your wife's birthday?
July 5th.
Yeah, listen, maybe she was whispering to me, but I love her. I love her cancer. So I heard this voice, the same voice that told me to become a photographer, the same voice that told me to move to LA. It said, "Elton, give up everything and travel the world for a year." So what I started doing from July of 2019 to August of 2019, before we went to go shoot our show, our last episode was my idea was I was going to travel the world for a year and
Yep.
create a YouTube series where every month I would live in a different country and document that life. So I wanted to give
Wow.
myself like a year of exploration to be like the Black Anthony Bourdain, to really
Okay.
build up my travel brand. And so I was giving, so from the July episode in New Orleans to the August episode in Ghana, I was giving away everything. Tony, I gave away my car, my dream
What?
apartment, all of my clothes. I gave away all of my furniture. But it's like I had this huge loft, like huge downtown Los Angeles loft. I had a mural painted on it. All kind of celebrities have
Oh,
been in my loft. Tiffany Haddish, Issa Rae,
no
uh,
way.
Jesse Williams. Like literally, it was the place to be. And I gave it all away because of this voice.
That was bold. We keep using that word today, bold, but that was like, so how did you like follow your gut at that moment? Like, because we get connected or to materialistic things, and we like it's hard sometimes to like, all right, I done busted my ass, I've gotten to this point. Like, how am I going to give all this up? How did you give that up? Or you
The
just
interest,
had that knowing?
so the interesting thing is, I think around that time, around 2019, I had never been spiritual, I had never been into astrology, I had never been into quantum mechanics or anything, right?
Okay.
But around that time, my life was so aligned. I said, this has to be greater than me. Like
Okay.
from 2018, 2019, the the manifestations were insane. And I said,
Wow.
this, I'm not doing this. I was like, I'm not. Every time I pick up my phone, it would be another opportunity for something. Every time I would step outside, it would be like another opportunity for something. I was like,
That's
I'm not doing
amazing.
this. There is some magic happening here. And so I
Yeah.
started learning about the three different planes of reality. So you have the 3D plane, which is the physical plane which we exist in. You have the mental plane, which is the 4D reality, and then you have the spiritual
Okay.
plane. And as a Pisces myself, we have two fishes. Our symbol is two fishes. One is swimming that way, and one is
Yep.
swimming the way. And as a Pisces, I learned that one of the fishes is swimming in the physical realm, and the other fish is swimming in the spiritual realm. So I
No
spend a
way.
lot of time in the spiritual realm. I spend a lot of time astral projecting. I spend a lot of time in a dreamlike state. And
Okay.
I learned how to trust the dream state
Yeah.
because the more that I trusted the dream and the spiritual state, the more that it
Yeah.
would turn into reality.
It's crazy that you said that because lately I haven't been doing astral projections, but I've been like doing a lot of remote viewing. So I had this reading. Her name is Melissa Gates Perry. You should check her out. She's
I heard of
amazing.
her.
Huh?
I've heard of her
She,
before.
yeah, she's in Vermont and from a little town over from where my wife grew up in Vermont. How did I find I found Melissa here. I'm in this like spiritual group here in Richmond, Virginia. And my good friend Megan Cummings invited me to this event that I was already a part of, but she was like, "Hey, my best friend Melissa's coming here. You and Debbie got to check her out." So I go and see her, and she is a channeler. She channels this entity called Airlam. So I asked her questions. She knew stuff about me. Like it was just like incredible. And so then my wife set up a reading with her because she does these Zoom readings that they're like you can't even describe it. Like, and then she channels Airland, and so I had a session with her, and she was like, "You could actually do what I'm doing now." She was like, "You're open. You have this higher vibration. You have a entity that's called Velman." And it was so funny because I just gotten these glasses that I'm wearing right now. And I kept saying, God damn, I feel like Velma from Scooby Doo. Jinkies, I can't find my glasses. Because for some reason they kept falling off. And I was like, damn, I feel like Velma. And then the next day after I said that, I had that reading with Melissa Gates Perry, and she said, your higher self, or not your higher, your entity that's has always been with you, will always be with you. You were his God, and you are much more evolved than he is. But in this lifetime, he's much more evolved and he's attached to you. And his name is Velman. And I was like,
Wow. What
and
are the odds?
then to take it one step further, I'm obsessed with doors, like
Okay.
really intricate, beautiful doors. So when we were in Europe this summer, I was living my best life. I must have 150 pictures of myself in front of these old doors from the 14th, 15th, 16th century all the way up until now. And then I Googled the name Velman, and it's this company. I can't remember where the company is, but that's all they make is doors, and it's called Bellman. And I was like, you can't make this shit up. Like, what the hell? So yeah, it's insane how like if you're open and if you
Hmm.
listen, because a lot of times, like I said, we our own worst critics, and we listen to other people and we let them influence our beliefs. And so that's what I'm doing right now. Is because like I'm evolving at a rapid rate right now, I feel.
Mhm.
And it's some family that I don't speak to because we are not on the same vibrational frequency. And I've let go of the past, like you said, you when you were leaving your old identity. And it I had this dream, Elton.
Hmm.
So and it all came true. Like I have these prolific dreams. Like I
Okay.
could go into that, but I had this one dream, and it you know how you have these dreams and you can feel the emotion, the energy, the sadness, because it told me that you are the chosen one from your family. And I'm one of 9 kids. I've had 6 sisters, 2 brothers. And so it said, you're the chosen one to change the trajectory of your family, but you're going to be losing a lot of your family because you have served and what your soul contract is up with this soul, particularly soul group, your family that you came in with. You've served, and then also, and this was in a dream, and then, like I said, in the reading I had with Melissa Gates Perry, she verbatimly said the exact same thing. I don't know
Wow.
if you know, but your soul contract is up with your family. And she's like, it's nothing bad. You know, if they ever need you, or if they ever reach out to you, don't be rude or don't be, you're not elitist or you know better, but you're just on a different vibrational frequency with some of your family. And
Wow.
so it was like, wow. Yeah.
That could be so hard to go through when you realize that, though, because we're so
Yeah.
attached to our family, we're so attached to this physical plane. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine how that felt for you.
Yeah. And as you know, and I know that we all incarnate in this lifetime, but we also we travel in these soul groups. Like some of these soul groups, and I've had, like I said, 6 past life regressions. And so my kids have been my siblings. My wife was my mother in one incarnation. Like my nephew was my dad in an incarnation. So yeah,
Mhm.
we all come in and we are on those soul groups. And I know some of my friends are like, "What the hell? He's smoking that shit," because some people, especially in our African American culture, I love our culture, but sometimes some people don't, they're not open, and they don't believe in spirituality and metaphysics. And but like you said earlier, a lot of people are waking up right now
Yeah.
and they can't explain what's going on metaphysically around them, like, and so they're having to wake up and deal with what is happening, and they're
Yeah.
seeking more. So let's
Yeah.
jump back to 2019 where you had your NDE. We call them a NDE, but a near death experience.
Oh yeah. So we were filming the last episode in Ghana, but I wanted to touch on the point that I had decided to give everything away right before this happened,
Uh-huh.
which all of my material stuff away right before this happened. So we filmed the episode in Ghana, which was amazing. And my idea was that we would get back to America on August 30th, and then I would head to my first country, which was Brazil, so I could start my year-long journey. And the episode in Ghana was amazing. It was 2.5 beautiful weeks being surrounded in the motherland and meeting so many people and having so many experiences. But the one thing that I didn't do is I did not take my malaria medication. Now,
Oy.
I've been to about 25 countries in Africa, and every time I would take malaria prevention medication, I would always get the worst side effects. Like I would be out for the count for 3 days. And I was like, you
Okay.
know what? I'm African. I've been to all these countries. I've been to so many of these countries before. I was like, I don't need it. Malaria is not going to get me. And the thing about malaria, which I learned so much about after this situation, is like one, malaria is actually a parasite. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it travels with mosquitoes. And the parasite attaches to your red blood cells. So your red blood
Oh.
cells are literally all over your body, in every aspect of your body. And then the second thing is that it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to manifest. And the
Oh.
third thing is that it has one of the highest mortality rates where 65 to 70% of the people that get malaria die from malaria.
No way.
So those were the three factors that I was dealing with. So I'm like a week into Brazil. We get done filming, and so now I'm in Brazil working on my own brand and my own project. And I'm like climbing mountains, I'm hang gliding, I'm jumping into the
Wow.
ocean, I'm skateboarding down Copacabana, I'm doing all the things. And then on like the seventh day, I felt like I was going to die. And so I'm in my Airbnb in Brazil, and I remember
Were you
calling
by
my mother.
yourself?
Yeah, I'm all by myself.
Okay.
And I'm in my Airbnb in Brazil, and I call my mother. I say, Mom, I think I'm going to die. And I was telling her the symptoms I was going through. Like I couldn't walk because the red blood cells in my legs were gone. I couldn't see. I started going
Okay.
partially blind. I lost like almost like 30, 40% of my vision at the time. And I felt like I was going to die. And so when I called my mother, this is the interesting part. So when I called my mother, I was the kind of kid that didn't need any help growing up. Like my parents, they didn't have to really push me to do anything. I was always pulling them. So me
Okay.
calling my mother and telling her that I feel like I was going to die and I needed her, she was like, "Oh, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Like I am so ready to step up to the plate." So I think I
And
called
you're
my mother.
like, no, I'm fucking dying.
No, no, she took that seriously. So I think I told her
Okay.
that at like 11 a.m. and she was on a plane to Brazil by 8 p.m. that
Oh,
same day.
wow.
And so during that time is when I had the near death experience. So I remember being in my Airbnb. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. I was just in the Airbnb by myself, waiting for my mom to come. And I remember at the height of the experience, there were four figures over me. And so I would say they were very feminine in nature.
Hmm.
They had a flow to them. They didn't really speak. It was more like harmony, like a harmony or like a tone or a frequency
Okay.
coming out of their mouths. But I could understand the frequency, if that makes sense.
That makes
And
perfect
it's
sense.
so they took me to the spiritual realm, and over there it wasn't like I said in my TikTok, I didn't see the pearly gates. I didn't see the visions that we have of what heaven looks like. I
Uh-huh.
didn't see any of my deceased family members. I didn't see a grandma or anything like that. But what I saw was like this sea or this ocean of energy. And
Okay.
I became one with this ocean of energy during that time. So it felt like the warmness of love, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
could feel a warmth in my body, but it felt like the warmth you feel from a hug from your grandmother or mother or a
Wow.
loved person. It felt like the light that you feel from the light in the eyes of somebody that you love, like a child or something like that. It just felt
Okay.
like the purest form of love that you could ever experience. And these figures, they gave me the option to stay in that realm because it was
Hmm.
like a tunnel to get there.
Okay.
And they gave me the option to stay in the realm. And I remember being like, damn, I want to stay here. But I was like, if I stay here, my mom is going to kill me. So I decided to stay Earthside. And uh, all I remember is that I don't know how long I was over there. It could have been 3 minutes, it could have been 3 hours, but I just know that time did not exist and I
Yep.
felt so much peace. So, like, my fear of dying does not exist anymore.
Yep.
There's no more fear. And then my concept of the afterlife has completely changed. And long story short, my mother finally made it to uh, Brazil into my Airbnb. And got me to the hospital. There, luckily for us, because I still didn't know I had malaria at this time. I didn't know what was going on. So
Okay.
luckily for us, we were very close to like the best infectious disease hospital in all of
That's
Brazil.
another.
And I was in the hospital for 7 days, and like I would say the first 3 days were definitely the hardest because I was going in and out of that realm. It
Oh
wasn't.
wow.
It was like I would go back there and feel that same kind of feeling, but I knew that I needed to live. And the image that I want to leave with your audience and viewers is that at that time I understand what real love really is, because I remember waking up and like and I got all the IVs in me and all the heart monitors and everything. And I remember waking up around maybe 3 a.m. or something like that. And I was looking in the room and they didn't have a bed for my mother to sleep in. They only had enough space for me, but
Hmm.
there were two chairs and my mother had been sleeping in the two chairs, like one for her back and one for her legs, and she did
Wow.
not leave my side for 7 days. And I
Wow.
remember bursting into tears because I said, "That's what real love is."
Yeah.
And at the time, I had been so popular. Like everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, Elton, I love you." I had all these Instagram followers and all these quote unquote fans, and I had been thinking like, "Oh, that's love. They love me. They, you know, what I'm saying like they. That's what." No, what real love is that moment where I observed my mother and she was going to do everything in her power to keep her child alive. And that
Wow.
for me defined what love is for
Yeah.
the rest of my life.
Yeah. Now, and how, so after that event happened, now how did you get to exactly where you are today? Because I've seen other people who have had near-death experiences. One is Dr. Eben Alexander. He was a neurosurgeon, never believed in that. He had contracted meningitis in his brain and then went over to the other side. He met a sister that he didn't know that he had.
Mhm.
His parents never told him that, they had had a child that didn't make it before he did, before he was born. And then, like, now he goes around the country, the world, and that's all he talks about is near death experiences. And like you said, not being afraid of death, like being open to different realms. And how has that impacted you now? Because I just, like I said, when I met you online, this has been like not even 2 weeks, a week ago, and it was like this instant connection to you, or like again at a soul level. And I think that's part of your gift, your talent, and now that you're wide awake and you have all this like energy and like you're it, because everybody is like attracted to you. I don't know if you know that right now, but I was reading your comments from like all these people, and they were saying all these like positive, great things, and how you have impacted their lives in such a profound way that they can't even explain. I was reading all of them, and then it's just amazing that you told me that this is a new journey for you. You just started posting like recently, and now you're getting all these followers. You're like again, you're becoming more like you were successful in your what I would say your past life, because like after this near death experience, I think you were completely in a different space, a different life, different energy. And so, tell me how it is now having this gift, this knowing, and how it's changed you and how it's changing everything around you.
I think this feels more like service right now, because I
Hmm.
went into hiding after I had my near death experience and I got back healthy. I moved. I kept back traveling and I lived in Bali during the pandemic, so that's where I got a chance to, and that was for like a year and a half. And
I
so,
want to go to Bali so bad.
oh yeah, you got to go. It's calling you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you definitely gotta go. I'm gonna start doing some things out there, but
I'll sign up for one of your retreats.
right. I've hosted one before, but I would say immediately after I moved back to Bali, or moved to Bali during the pandemic. So that was like a year and a half, 18 months. And during that time, I just started to get into and testing out all the different modalities, everything from breath work to Reiki to yoga to DMT, psilocybin mushrooms. I did
Hmm.
everything. And
I want to try ayahuasca. That's on my list too. I want to go to Costa Rica to this retreat called
oh,
Rimba.
mhm.
I want to do ayahuasca.
I heard about that. Yeah, I haven't been called to ayahuasca because I just don't feel like purging. But I heard it's amazing.
Not everybody purges, but but it's different for everybody. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I have thousands of friends that have done it, but I just, how it's like something just doesn't call you.
sure.
But yeah. So I spent that time really tapping into myself, and that's where I came across human design. And with human design, that was something that literally gave me a new lens to see myself through. Like I had
And a
always seen my,
blueprint.
huh? You said what?
And a blueprint.
Ex- Perfect term. It was like a new lens and a blueprint to see myself through because I didn't quite understand my effect on people and
Hmm.
my purpose on this earth anymore because I had
Yeah.
in my past life, like you said, I already did all the success and achievement, but it was very selfish. It was very for me, 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 me. And when I came across human design, I said, "Oh, I love this because I can share this new lens with other people." And it's not the thing about human design. It's not a belief system. It's not a religion. It's not any of those things. It's not a cult. None of those things. It's literally just an opportunity to understand. And like I said, I call it a lens to understand how your energy works in this life. And the thing that happened, the thing that was strange is that for 2 years, I was super spiritual, super woo woo, super like everything's energy, everything's this.
Yeah.
But I had to move back to Los Angeles in 2022. And interestingly enough, that's when I went through my dark night of the soul. So,
Okay.
for any of your listeners, like when people go through spiritual awakenings, one of the most integral parts of that spiritual awakening journey is the dark night of the soul. And
Hmm.
I had such an issue going from the feminine spiritual energy of Bali, because they even call it Mama Bali, to coming
Okay.
back to this masculine, toxic masculine, capitalistic energy of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And to go from that much, that veil of the spirit world that's so thin in Bali, to go to work, make money, hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind. Tony, it completely took me to hell. Like I was
Oh wow.
smoking weed every day. I was
Wow.
popping
Just
pills
coast.
on the weekend. I was the same shrooms that had helped me open up. I was abusing shrooms like for just all kind of debauchery. And
Yep.
I spent 3 years in LA in the darkest times of my life. So from 2022 to 2025 was the darkest time of my entire life. So I didn't talk
Wow.
about human design. I had burned my human design books and everything. Like I did
No
not talk
way.
about it. I completely like let it go. I was like, this is stupid because nobody else was vibing with it. I would talk about human design. People were like, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like,
It
oh
just wasn't
God.
your time, right?
And so I started resenting being a photographer. And I was like, I started resenting LA. It wasn't the same LA. And so I was so super depressed and so just dark. It was just a dark energy around me. So
What
the
was the
LTUC
turnaround?
right now, you said what?
What was the turnaround? How did you get out of that?
I was gonna say, so the LTUC right now is during my darkest time, I just started a TikTok and I said, I'm gonna get on this TikTok and I'm gonna make videos that I don't want anybody to see. I just want to make videos to talk to myself and to get back on, because having gone from being so popular online to now being a nobody on TikTok was amazing for me.
Mm,
It was amazing. The thought of being on TikTok and just being a nobody, but making videos and just putting stuff out there. And so in the beginning, every time I would post, it would be like shadow work. It would be like alchemy, because I would be just putting things out there. So every blue moon, I would talk about the spiritual stuff, and people would be like, "Oh my gosh!" Like every time I post something spiritual, it would be like once a month. It wouldn't even be like
okay.
free. It would be like once a month, and people would be like, "Oh, I like this. Talk about this more." And I'm like, I don't want too many people. And then I would keep everything, maybe 2 times a month. And then people were like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I like this." And then I would the frequency would get higher and higher. And then I started going viral on TikTok. That was
Yep.
my worst nightmare. That was my worst nightmare, because I had developed this visibility wound that was
Hmm.
so deep, because I in my mind, I thought that people could see all the darkness that I was carrying from those 3 years in LA.
Yeah.
And so I I moved to New York. I said I left LA in May of last year. I lived in Miami with my parents, where I am now, and I moved to New York for 3 months. And New York was the place that really got me to where I am now, because
Yeah.
I just fully surrendered. I said, I'm going to live a fully surrendered life. I'm going to
That's
learn how
hard.
to, yeah, oh, it's the hardest thing ever. And I said, I'm going to learn how to integrate my shadow, because a lot of times people keep trying to hide the shadow and they don't want to do the shadow work. They want to keep tucking those things lower and lower. So those 90 days in New York, I learned how to integrate my shadow, and I moved back to uh, I moved back to Miami in November. And then for the
Okay.
first time, I finally talked about my near death experience online. I made a
Wow.
TikTok where I talked about when I died in 2019. That was the title of it. And I just talked about my near
Hmm.
death experience. And I could have never in a million years thought that people were so invested in near death experiences. And then they
Yep.
gave me a chance to talk about spirituality and
Yeah.
metaphysics. So I'm literally only like a good month and a half into this new journey,
That's
but I
crazy.
had to go through that darkness to come back out
Yep.
to the light. And so then I
To the
started
light.
taking some of the some of the TikToks from my TikTok page, and I started slowly just this year. So just on January 2nd was the first time I ever posted on
That's
Instagram in
crazy.
years.
And like I
So
said, I just found you last week, and then
yeah,
I I need to have this guy on my podcast because like I said, I really connected with you and all that you are about and all that you were talking about, and it was just like this. Wow, this dude is like out here, like changing people's lives in a very positive way. And it's just your videos. And then, dude, I'm trying to tell you, you about to blow up again in a different way. You know, you had success once as a professional photographer. Like you said, you met Issa Rae and all these celebrities and everything. But that life is over now. And like this new life is just going to bring you so much more fulfillment, I see, because like you said in LA and just a different culture, different vibe. You get caught up in all that different energy out there and you're chasing your dream, but sometimes for the wrong reason. And so, yeah, I can't wait to see your growth and expansion and how many, you're already affecting so many people like right now in such a short amount of time. So this has been like 1 month, not even a month already yet. So
it's been 3 weeks, and I've already gained 24,000 new Instagram followers. And to
well,
your
yeah, we
point,
need to talk about that. I need to get my numbers up.
yeah,
This
and
will do it.
right, this will do it. And like, already got 24,000 new followers on Instagram in 3 weeks. And already have been on, I think this might be my 12th podcast. I got
That's
another one
amazing.
in an
Great
hour.
podcast.
And and what, to your point, what really has been like so touching to my soul is the messages, like the DMs and the comments that I get. But it's really the DMs, like the DMs from complete
Yeah,
strangers
when
from
we were
all over the
talking,
world.
when you and I were doing a FaceTime the other day, Questlove was like
Hmm.
talking. You had all these celebrities and people reaching out. They like, "Hey
Hmm.
man, tell me about what your new life outlook on life. What's going on?" So it's like crazy. Like I said, in such a short amount of time that you've attracted all these like people, but it's for a reason, right?
Yeah. No, it's definitely for a reason, and I mean, I'm working with so many amazing people to develop an app that's going to be able to help people understand their energy and to help live a life of fulfillment. Working
Yep.
on building brands right now, and everything that I've ever needed has been showing up. Like everybody that I needed to help build this business has literally slid in my DMs and like, Elton, we need to
It's
talk.
shown up.
I have
Yeah.
not I have not had to make one call. I have not had to network. I have not had to do any of those things. And so what my new focus on is really speaking to a term that I feel like I coined it, but we'll see. But speaking to the esoteric entrepreneurs, and those are the healers, the mystics, the psychics, and the
Yep.
witches and the wizards. And I want to
Yeah.
talk to these people because they don't have a platform, and they also don't necessarily know certain business acumen, right? So
Yep.
you have a gift, you're a channeler, you're a mystic, you have these natural gifts from God and from source, but now let's build a system around this so we can monetize it. Let's
Yeah.
teach
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
how to create digital products or create an online personal brand so that the opportunities can start coming to you in the same manner that they've just been happening for myself
Yeah.
in a very short time. So instantly my heart has automatically went to, okay, me getting all this attention, great. All these DMs, thank you so much. Like it moves me, it touches my soul, it brings me to tears. But how can I help create this for so many other people? And that's
Yeah.
what's been
Yeah.
so fun and that's what's been fulfilling.
Yeah, I was away at a conference. I just became a brand ambassador. This new company, and it's so funny because I followed this guy on social media, this Middle Tarot, and he was talking about Gemini and what was coming up for us in December, that was going to
Mhm.
change, and January that was going to change because Uranus is coming into Gemini. I think the April 26th. And so he was like telling me about saying about this company that I would be starting up with. Long story short, I ended up signing out of necessity. Had a colonoscopy, had all these polyps, had a upper GI, had all these ulcers, and I was like, I need to get my microbiome right. And so then, fast forward, after I started taking these supplements, it's called Three International. I'll send you the informational. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with them. And then, so I went to the conference in Dallas, Texas, 2 weekends ago. I shit you not, 8 people came up to me and said, I just love your energy. You are like so open and you had a different, and these were all people that said, like, I'm a channeler, I'm a medium, I'm a psychic. Like
Hmm.
8 people, like within a hour time frame, came up to me and was like, wow, I'm just even the owner, the CEO of the company came up to me and said, I just love, we had never met. I'm new to the
Hmm.
company. And he was like, I just love your energy. And he's agreed to do my podcast. So I'm going to have him on as soon as I can schedule it. But it's just like you were saying, when you're open, you're in the right alignment, people just will find you and follow you. And it is for your greater good. And it also for their greater good too. Because I think, like you said, it's a service. And so you're helping people. But as you help people, they so also help you, and it raises your vibration every time you pull somebody up out of their darkness and despair. I could
Yeah,
talk to you all damn day. It's like we're out of time. Like, where did the time go?
where to go?
Bring
But
it back. Run that shit back.
time, as we know, time don't exist, so we all right.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So tell people how they can find you, Elton.
The easiest way to find me right now is my Instagram. It's Elton Anderson Jr.
Okay.
And from there, I'll start creating resources for people to, if they want to get readings or want to connect with me. And I'm also offering some
Sign
really
me up,
cool,
Chuck.
some really cool group offerings because I think creating a collective of esoteric entrepreneurs is very important. So check out my Instagram first and foremost, and then you'll be able to find all of the other resources from there.
Awesome. Elton, it's been like I said, I could sit here and talk to you for another hour or two, just because like we vibe that way and we're on that same frequency.
For
But
sure.
like, dude, it's been such a pleasure. Like, and I couldn't even leave when I hit you up. You got back to me within like 20 minutes, and so like I said, it was like it's this immediate connection. And I know you and I are meant to work together. We're gonna blow up together because just
Sure. Let's
like
go.
your energy and just like everything that you are bringing to the table right now is in a positive light, positive way. There's no negativity. And that's why people are finding you. And that's why right now you're on this huge trajectory. I can see it in my mind's eye right now. It's like this huge trajectory. And you're just going to blow up again in another way. And let's stay in contact.
For sure. Oh yeah, we already family. We cousins now. So
And we
I,
cousins, we Andersons.
right, Tony. I love what you're doing. I love your story. I love your aura, and I'm so honored to be a part of this platform that you're building and about to make
I
human.
appreciate that.
And
I
we need to see
appreciate it.
more of
Let's
it.
get it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, Elton. I'll be in touch. And
For
thank you to
sure.
my viewers for watching today. This is a busy, hectic world that we live in right now with all that's going on. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be right here with me. So until the next time, stay connected. I'm out.